Hey builders, if you ever wanted to create automations that trigger based on the emails you get in your Gmail inbox, then stick around because this is what we're going to be building in this video. We'll show you how to create your own Gmail automations using the Gmail trigger. Whenever you get a new email in your Gmail inbox, your BuildShip workflow will be triggered. The workflow will extract the email subject, body, and attachment. After that, all of this content will be analyzed to check if the email is an invoice related one. And if it is, then we're going to extract useful information from the invoice and store that in your Supabase database. To begin, we're going to go to the templates library and search for the Gmail invoice tracker template. I'll select this template and clone it to my project. This workflow automation is using the Gmail trigger. This is perfect for us because we only want to trigger this workflow whenever we receive a new email in our Gmail inbox. So the first thing we'll need to do here is configure the Gmail trigger. You'll need to authenticate with the Gmail account that you want to listen for new emails. Here, I already have a Gmail account selected. If it's the first time you're doing this, you can just add your Gmail account by clicking Add Account here. And once you have your email account authenticated and selected, your workflow is now ready to start listening for new emails. All we have to do is connect the trigger. If your trigger connects successfully, you should then have the two inputs added to your workflow, one for the messages and one for the attachment. Let's switch back to our workflow. Our workflow will receive a list of attachments. Next, what we want to do is loop over each attachment. For each attachment, we want to check if it's a PDF. Here we're using this file type utility node that will tell us the type of a file. We have a branch node that is checking to see if the file type is PDF. If it is a PDF, we'll continue with our steps. If it isn't, then we don't want to do anything else. Here we're just assuming that invoices will always be in PDF format. So if our attachment is a PDF, then we can start with the core steps here. The first thing that we want to do is upload that PDF to our BuildShip storage. And next, we want to extract the content from the PDF. For this, we're using the Mistral OCR node. This node requires a Mistral AI API key. If you don't already have one, then you can head over to Mistral AI and just create a new account or sign in, and then you can get your API key from there, and then just add a new secret key here for your Mistral AI API key. After we've extracted the text from the PDF, we want to analyze the email subject, email body, and the attachment content to see whether it is invoice related or not. For that, we're going to be using the JSON generator node. We can use this node to extract structured outputs from a given text. As it pertains to API keys, you have two options here. The easiest one is to just use your BuildShip credits. And you can see that's the option I have selected here. If you don't want to do that, then you can just add your OpenAI API key here. And next, we just need to specify the text that we want to analyze. So here, first I'm passing the email content. This includes the email subject and body. And then finally here, I have the attachment content. We want this node to analyze this text and return this schema. Ultimately, these are the fields that we're going to be saving in Supabase. We want to know the invoice vendor, total amount, invoice ID, due date, email, and finally we have a Boolean is invoice email flag, which we'll be able to use to check if this email is invoice related or not. We're going to use that Boolean flag in our branch is invoice to check if is invoice is true. If it's true, that means it is invoice related, so we want to track this in our Supabase database. So here we have our Supabase save invoice node. We're going to save our invoices to this Gmail invoices table. Note that I already have my Supabase keys imported to BuildShip. You're going to want to do that as well if you haven't. I'm just going to make sure that I select the correct Supabase key. Now let's take a look at the row that we want to save in this table. These are all the fields we want to save. For this to work, we need to make sure we create this Gmail invoices table with the expected table structure. So let's do that. In Supabase table editor, we'll need to create a new table and we'll call this Gmail invoices. And under the column section, we can start defining the columns that we want this table to have. We'll add a new column for the vendor, and this will be of type text. The next column will be for total amount, and this will be of type float. Next, we'll add a column for the invoice ID of type text. We'll add another column for the email, and this will be of type text as well. And the last column we'll add will be for the invoice download URL. This will be of type text as well. And now we can save the table. Perfect. We now have our Supabase Gmail invoices table created. Since I'm already here in Supabase, I want to get my project URL from project settings, data API, and then we'll copy this URL, head back to BuildShip, and paste this as the API URL. But there's one more thing that we need to do in Supabase before we can start testing our workflow. We'll go back to the table editor and go back to our Gmail invoices table. Supabase won't allow us to write to our Gmail invoices table or read from it without adding row-level security policies. So let's add these policies. Click Create Policy. On the right-hand side, you'll see a list of templates that we can use. I'll select the Enable Read Access for All Users policy, and I'll save this policy. Next, we'll create a policy for Insert, and we'll give this policy a name, Enable Insert for All Users. For the policy command, we'll switch to Insert, and then we'll say with check true. And we'll save this policy. With that out of the way, we're now ready to test our Gmail automation. So we'll go back to BuildShip and we'll just ship this workflow. Beautiful. To test this, what I'll do is send an email to the Gmail account that I authenticated with in our Gmail trigger. The receiver address here will be this email. For the subject, I'll just enter streaming invoice. Next, I need to upload the attachment that I want to include in this email. So I'll go to my test documents and I'll use this sample invoice for a web design agency. And with that, I can now send this email. I'm in my next Gmail, and as you can see, I did receive the email along with the sample invoice. Back in BuildShip, we can verify if our workflow was triggered. We can inspect the logs, and we'll see we get a new log message here. And I'm just going to expand this, and we can further inspect this. So here's our loop. Our file type node returns PDF. That's great. So we have this is PDF branch node execute. In the then branch, we upload the attachment. We extract the attachment text. You can see the output here. And our JSON generator node returns the fields that we want to save in Supabase. So it looks like all the steps in our workflow completed successfully. The last thing we need to do here to verify that this worked is head over to our Supabase table. And here you can see that we have a new invoice being tracked. Our Gmail invoice tracker automation is completed. But there's so much more automation opportunities that you can unlock by using BuildShip's Gmail trigger. And we'd love to see the automations you build, so please feel free to share them in the comments. That's all for this video. Until the next one, after BuildShip.